Hello everyone, this is Giraffe. Today we are going to talk about The Three-Body Problem by Liu Cixin. The Three-Body Problem is a long-form science fiction novel by the Chinese author Liu Cixin. In 2014, it was nominated for the Nebula Award, presented by the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers of America. And in 2015, it won the Hugo Award for Best Novel. The entire story, known as the Remembrance of Earth's Past trilogy, is divided into 3 books: The Three-Body Problem, The Dark Forest, and Death End. Combined, the trilogy totals approximately 900,000 words. The first book, The Three-Body Problem, primarily deals with the impending war between an alien civilization from the trilogy system and humanity. In our universe, solar systems with only one fixed star, like ours, are not very common. Most are double fixed star systems, or systems with 3 or more fixed stars. Furthermore, if intelligent life evolves in a double or triple fixed star system, its intelligence must be far superior to ours, because its environment is far more complex. The title three-body comes from a famous and difficult problem in physics and astronomy, known as three-body problem. It states that when 3 celestial bodies, like planets or stars, gravitationally attract each other, their movement trajectories become chaotic and are impossible to predict accurately. The three-body problem is as famous in physics as Fermat's last theorem is in mathematics. Of course, the three-body problem is the simplest form of multi-body optomechanics. There are also 4-body, 5-body, and generally n-body problems. The Trisolarians, the aliens in the story, live in a planet within triple star system. Their 3 suns constantly exert gravitational pull on their planet. Sometimes it gets too close to one sun, sometimes to another, causing dramatic and extreme temperature shifts. Life for the Trisolarians on this world is therefore extremely harsh. And the civilization has already been destroyed and reborn multiple times. Just think, life on Earth has experienced 5 mass extinctions, and we only have 1 fixed star. The Trisolarians have 3, making them vulnerable to extinction at any moment. It highlights how the birth and survival of humanity is an absolute miracle in the universe. After the latest generation of Trisolarians developed intelligence, they realized that if they did not leave their planet immediately, their civilization would be destroyed sooner or later. So, they began to develop their technology at a frantic pace, hoping to find a stable new home before their own world met its end. However, with countless planets in the universe, most of which are unsuitable for life, like hellish landscapes, finding a habitable one is like searching for a needle in a haystack. To simplify their search, they advised a method. They began listening to the sounds of the universe. They reasoned that if a planet was emitting signals, those signals would likely come from intelligent creatures. Therefore, that planet would almost certainly be more suitable for life than their own. The Trisolarians firmly believe other civilizations exist. In reality, for humans, we also have projects like the SETI Institute, dedicated to the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Finally, Trisolarian society is highly centralized. To develop their economy and technology rapidly, they needed a centralized power structure. Additionally, living every day under the threat of imminent extinction has made the Trisolarians a very ruthless civilization. Any Trisolarian who cannot contribute to society is immediately sentenced to death. Their harsh environment forces them to develop rapidly. They cannot afford a slow pace. In other words, pausing to simply enjoy life is a luxury they cannot afford, as it would mean certain demise. Then, after years of eavesdropping on the universe, they finally detect a signal within the cosmos. The signal is coming from the Earth. Our planet had indeed sending signals out into the universe for some time. In 1974, the United States sent the irreversible message into space, deliberately broadcasting Earth's location to any potential alien civilization. Furthermore, the Golden Records placed aboard the Voyager probes contain detailed information that would easily reveal our planet's location if the spacecraft were ever intercepted by extraterrestrials. The signal in the novel was sent by an astronomer called Ye Wenjie. Why she sent this signal to the universe? Because her parents got hurt in Cultural Revolution, and her lover sold her out at that time. So she is absolutely disappointed to humans. She no longer believes humans anymore. She hopes there is ultra civilization of God to save the human. So used her astronomer disposition, sent this signal to the universe. Then the Trisolarians who received the signal from Ye Wenjie was the one called 1379. The Trisolarians do not have names, only numbers. This is because from birth they are conditioned to be choosers of their society, constantly working to advance civilization and leave their planet as soon as possible. Although his own generation might not succeed in living, a goal that could take a very long time, the lifespan of a Trisolarian is incredibly long, allowing them to live for thousands of years. This listener had been monitoring the universe for thousands of years and finally received a signal. At first, he was tremendously excited, but after thinking it over, 1379 made a critical decision. He chose not to report the discovery to his superiors. He reasoned that reporting the signal, while potentially meaningful for the future of the Trisolarian civilization, would do nothing to change his own personal fate. So he sent a message back to Earth. Do not answer. Do not answer. Do not answer. He explained, we don't know your precise location, but if you send a reply, we will be able to find you immediately. Therefore, you must not answer. However, after receiving this warning message, Ye Wenjie was not afraid. She was overjoyed. She had finally found aliens. Consequently, she immediately sent the Earth's coordinates into space. Ye Wenjie's intention was clear. Come and invade us immediately. She had lost all hope in humanity and wanted a more advanced civilization to come and educate human society. Even if that meant destruction, it made no difference to her. One can understand her perspective. The arrival of Trisolarians would take a very long time, as interstellar travel to any planet requires centuries. She knew she would not live to see the consequences, nor the suffering of her descendants. Therefore, the future pain was an abstract concept to her, not a deterrent. Her reply was received by the Trisolarians, who then pinpointed Earth's exact location. The Trisolarians were ecstatic. Earth was very close to their planet, only 4.3 light years away. With their current technology, it would take them only 400 years to travel to Earth. Giving their lifespans of thousands of years, they could complete the journey within a single lifetime. This was a historical moment. For the first time in their history, the Trisolarians saw a real chance for their civilization to survive. However, there was a risk. What if humanity's technological development surpassed their own during the 400-year journey? To prevent this, the Trisolarians sent something ahead of their fleet, a macroscopic object, as small as an atom capable of moving at light speed. This object, called a cell phone, is a super intelligent quantum computer that reached Earth in just 4 years. So how does the cell phone restrict human progress? It is subatomic and can pass through any physical barrier. It could even enter your brain without warning and project images directly into your visual cortex. After its arrival, the cell phone first focused on the world's top scientists. It would hunt them, displaying unsettling and seemingly impossible illustrations before their eyes, ultimately driving many to despair and suicide. Consequently, the leading scientific minds on Earth began to take their own lives. By eliminating humans' most brilliant thinkers, the cell phone successfully locked down the planet's technological development. The cell phone is a super advanced quantum computer. The book also explains how the Trisolarians created it. They had already mastered the technology of dimensional folding. The process began by etching vast, complex circuits onto a single thin film. effectively building a powerful computer on a two-dimensional plane. They then folded this film through higher dimensions, compacting it into the size of a single proton. In this form, it could be sent to Earth at light speed. Upon arrival, it could unfold within the dimension it occupies, revealing its immense, complex structure. It shows us that the higher dimensions are thought to exist in microscale, accessible through spatial folding technology. Beyond driving scientists to suicide, the cell phone also acts as a perfect spy. It can monitor all human activities and transmit this information back to the Trisolar home world at the speed of light, providing real-time surveillance of Earth. Before the Trisolar fleet's arrival, Ye Wenjie established a secret organization on Earth to pave the way for the invasion. This group was called Earth Trisolaris Organization, ETO. Since the Trisolar fleet would take 400 years to arrive, they needed agents on the ground to control and destabilize human society. Through the cell phone surveillance, the Trisolarians gained a deep understanding of humanity. They concluded that, from both a biological and technological standpoint, humans were primitive compared to them. However, they discovered one unique human abilities the Trisolarians completely lacked. This single trait was the only thing that could potentially withstand their invasion: the human capacity for deception. Trisolarians communicate with transparent thought. Their minds are open books to one another. In their society, there is no such thing as lying, hidden intentions, or strategic cunning. This human ability for conspiracy and guile was a completely alien and terrifying concept to them. The Trisolarians found this deeply unsettling. They could not read human minds, which were opaque and hidden. This inability to know what humans were thinking made them profoundly fearful of humans' potential for deception. Meanwhile, on Earth, after numerous prominent scientists died under strange circumstances, authorities assembled a team of detectives to investigate. Through their investigation, they uncovered a chilling pattern. It seemed as if an invisible force was actively surpassing scientific progress across the globe. Humanity gradually became aware that a mysterious, unseen power was working to control and limit their development. Following the clues, the investigators eventually uncovered the Earth Trisolaris Organization, ETO. It was through this discovery that humanity first learned the terrifying truth: an alien fleet was on its way to invade Earth. Later, after dismantling the ETO, authorities seized the secret communications with the Trisolarians. From these records, they learned the details of the invasion plan, including the Trisolarians' timeline and their orders for the ETO to assassinate specific individuals ahead of the fleet's arrival. Among these targets, the Trisolarians placed an urgent and extreme priority on one man in particular. They repeatedly emphasized that he had to be killed above all others. His name was Luo Ji. Luo Ji was a university professor, a sociologist who was not particularly famous or accomplished. No one, including Luo Ji himself, could understand why he was deemed so dangerous. However, the Trisolarians insisted that he must die. As for why, we will explain in the next episode. See you next time!